This is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. It's for entertainment, educational purposes only. And everything I say is my opinion. Please do not make any financial decisions or any legal decisions based on anything that I say in these videos. Okay? This is just my opinion, and it's just educational. And take it with a grain of salt. Anyway, a lot of people see all the fraud, all the manipulation, all the malfeasance that's going on in the market right now, and they're suggesting that we do a class action lawsuit. And I believe that a class action lawsuit is not going to help us. A class action lawsuit is not going to get their attention because they are accustomed to class action lawsuits. They're accustomed to having a lawyer team already in place, already on retainer to fight class action lawsuits. So, as far as I'm concerned, what we need to do is we need 108 from each individual state to sue the SEC, the DTCC, and the hedges. Imagine if they had to answer 5,000 complaints in courts in 50 different states. You think that would get the attention? That would definitely get the attention and cause the SEC, the DTCC, and FINRA to start doing their job. A class action lawsuit doesn't do it. But 5,000 separate complaints from 5,000 different apes, and if we get some of the international apes to step in and file lawsuits on their own also, we're talking about maybe 10,000 individual lawsuits filed against the SEC, the DTCC, FINRA, and these hedges that are involved in all this bad behavior. I not guarantee, but I am a 95% sure if they got 5,000 complaints and had to hire attorneys from 50 different states to answer all these complaints, we would see some action from the SEC, we would see some action from the DTCC, we would see some action from FINRA. That being said, I'm just going to give a quick little update on how do you file a federal lawsuit. How do you sue the SEC, the DTCC, FINRA, and the other government agencies and the hedges who are engaged in all this malfeasance and fraud and manipulating our stock market? Okay? The first thing that you need to do is you need to determine the federal district court for your area. For example, I'm in South Florida, so I'm the South Florida District Court. Whether you're in Delaware, whether you're in New York, whether you're in California, whether you're in Texas, every state has a federal court. And some states, if they're really, really big, they have multiple federal courts. So the first thing you need to do is go online and find out which federal district court falls under your jurisdiction, or whose jurisdiction you fall under. Okay? Now, once you determine that, what you want to do is, a majority of the courts right now, you can go online and get a lot of information. So, for example, in Southern District Court of Florida, you go into the website and you request a pro se manual. You can actually get it online, or you can actually go in and the clerk of the court more than likely will give it to you. Okay? And what a pro se manual is, it'll give you the rules and regulations of that particular court, because even though federal laws are kind of uniform, every state, every court has what they call local rules, which is like little small different ways they might do things. They might have different fees and different things in place. So what you want to do, you want to get the pro se manual from the court that's actually in your jurisdiction, and you might want to read through it. And once you read through the pro se manual, and not only that, some courts also have a pro se office where they have people who will actually help you put the lawsuit together. These guys are not attorneys, but they work with the courts in the pro se office to help pro se litigants file lawsuits when they do not have attorneys. Now, once we find the district court, once we have the pro se manual, once we peruse the pro se manual, we get an idea, it's going to give us a step-by-step guideline on how to proceed with the lawsuit. Now, the average cost of a federal lawsuit to file it is around $400. Okay? But if you don't have the $400, there's something called informa pauperis. INFORMPAUPRIS, informa pauperis. And what that is a form that you fill out where you're going to request that the court waive the filing fees. So if you're currently working 9 to 5, you only got 2 AMC shares, and you can't afford the $400 or the $450, depending on the court, because as I said before, some courts have local rules that change what the fee is. They might have additional fees, but you can still file the informa pauperis and request that the courts waive the fee to file the lawsuit. So you can actually file a lawsuit for absolutely free, and you don't have to worry about paying the $400 to $450 because the courts will waive it for you if you show the courts that you don't have the ability to pay the $400 to $450, depending on what state you're in, depending on your financial situation at the time that you decide to file a lawsuit. Okay, now once you file informa pauperis, or if you have the $400 to initiate the lawsuit, what you need to do is put together a complaint. And once you get that complaint together, then you have to get a cover sheet, a civil cover sheet. All of this information will be in a pro se manual that your particular court is going to give to you. Mostly, as I said before, mostly every single federal court has a pro se manual for that district, and some courts even have a pro se office that will actually help you put together the lawsuit. So once you have the complaint, you fill out the civil cover sheet, and then you fill out a summons. And in that summons, what you're going to do is you're going to put a summons for every individual defendant. So you have a summons for the SEC, a summons for DTCC, a summons for FINRA, a summons for whatever hedgie you think is working with them, and name them as a defendant. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this whole package, you're going to make copies, and you're going to mail the summons and complaint to the individual defendants or their attorneys, if you know who their attorneys are. Also, there's something called a waiver of summons. And what you do is you fill out the waiver of summons and you mail them this waiver of summons. If they sign the waiver of summons and send it back, then you don't have to serve them. They're waiving service. But once you fill out this waiver of summons and you send it to the defendants, the SEC, the DTCC, FINRA, or the other hedgies, by signing that waiver of summons, they no longer have to be served. But if you send them the waiver of summons and they don't send it back to you, now you're going to have to pay a process server or somebody over the age of 18 who is not a party to the lawsuit to serve the defendants in the case. But the way the rule works is, once you give them the opportunity to waive the service of summons, any cost associated with getting them served after that, the courts, you can file a motion with the courts to have the courts reimburse you for your cost of service. Okay? And then the next thing you want to do is you want to register with PACER. PACER is the electronic filing system for the court system. Some jurisdictions, some federal courts allow you to upload paperwork to ECF, so you don't even have to go into the court to file the paperwork and to file subsequent motions and things like that. You actually do it online electronically. And you have some courts that if you're not an attorney, they're not going to let you file electronically. You're going to have to actually mail the papers in, and I would recommend mailing anything to the courts, certified mail, return receipt. And if the court is conveniently located to you, you can actually walk it into the clerk of the court's office, and the clerk of the courts will stamp your copies and stamp the original and then file it in the computer. Then you'll be able to go online, probably the next day or the day after that, you'll be able to see your papers that were filed. Now, I'm bringing this up because I'm about to file another complaint against the SEC, FINRA, the DTCC, and these other hedgies. And I'm going to tell you why. Even though we do have a case that's pending in court right now, but they've created more fraud, more malfeasance, more what I consider crimes and illegal acts since I filed the first lawsuit. They have not learned their lesson. It's like you have a criminal, a perp, who committed murder. So he's committed murder, and now the judge gives him bail. While he's out on bail, he commits another murder. So that's not combined with the old murder. These are new facts, new mens rea. A new indictment has to be done. So as far as I'm concerned, since I filed that last lawsuit, they have engaged in other illegal activities that need to be addressed by the courts. So once I file my complaint, it's going to be accessible to the public. So if anybody wanted to take my complaint, read it, and then file their own lawsuit, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. But as I'm telling you now, this is not legal advice, this is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do, and I'm telling you what you can do. But you have to make your own decision on your finances. You have to make your own decisions on what you're going to do legally. But as I said earlier, if 5,000 retail investors file separate complaints in federal court against the SEC, FINRA, DTCC, I guarantee you they will start doing their job, because they won't be able to deal with that many complaints. They will have to hire attorneys from all 50 states, attorneys that are admitted in these jurisdictions to fight these lawsuits. Okay? This will force them to start doing their job. A class action lawsuit is not going to do it, because they're prepared for a class action lawsuit. They have teams in place already for a class action lawsuit. If we want to get some action from them, we need 108 from all 50 states and even some international states to file complaints in federal court. We file these complaints in federal court, they're going to have a problem. They're going to be forced to do their job, because they're not going to be able to answer 5,000 different complaints from 5,000 different retail investors. Anyway, please hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube stuff. I appreciate y'all on this journey with me, and we are going to fight to make sure we get a free and fair and transparent market. God bless.